This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, January 17th, 2007, and this is episode 206 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg from mgmstudios.org. Mike Scope is without power, and Annette Owen says she's sick, but I think we all know that they skipped today's show to watch American Idol. So on today's show, we've decided if you stick an I in front of something, it sells like hotcakes. So on today's show is Mike Newell of iMouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, I'm Matt. It's great to be here.
Also on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
It's the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World.
Works.
Welcome,
iPod,
I'm Matt. How are you?
iPhone. People buy it.
iPhone, exactly.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. And our first question comes from Gabriella, who writes, "Hi, everyone. It's Gabriella from Connecticut. I recently caught up on your shows and really enjoy them. I'm planning a trip to Disney in March with two of my friends. We're all seniors in high school. They're pretty unfamiliar with Disney, but I am no stranger. We're trying to plan hotels and dining and such and have some questions. We're picking from a moderate resort and choosing from the Caribbean Beach at Coronado Springs because we've stayed at both Port Orleans numerous times. We have stayed at Coronado Springs once and enjoyed it. We were close to the main building. We are baffled by the choice. Any advice?"
Yeah. So here's the deal. I like the ambiance and the food court better at Caribbean Beach. The downside is if you're in high school, you're not gonna be able to rent a car.
Right.
And unless you're paying for a preferred building next to the Port Royal, it's going to be a hike to walk. And it's not that it's that bad of a walk. It's that it's that bad of a walk in the rain. You know, if it rains.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the downside there.
I don't like either of them because they're just so large, and it just, I don't know.
Yeah, but they manage the intimacy well at Caribbean Beach. Plus, they have those old-timey air conditioners. You know, the ones that with a dial that you crank up that go. God, I love those.
Yeah, Len loves his old air conditioner.
White noise, man. White noise when you sleep.
It puts you out.
Oh yeah, I mean you're out like that. I mean there's drool on the pillow. You're like, anyway, it's awesome.
I guess for theme, I'd go for Caribbean Beach. Assuming there's no convention.
Like the food court better too.
Yeah, I go for Caribbean Beach, Gabrielle. I think it's your better bet at this point.
I think so too.
Next email comes from Brant Tracy, who writes, "Hey guys, first off, great show. Now on to the meat. I'm a brand new listener, and I'm not going to be able to listen to all of your episodes before my wife and I head to the world on our second trip. I have the unofficial guide, subscribe to Tour Guide Mike, and frequent the Disboards. That being said, I'm pretty well versed in a few trip tips and tricks, but I definitely wouldn't call myself an expert. So I'm wondering which episodes would be my best bet to listen to prior to our trip at the end of April." Well, if you're asking me, Brant, I would recommend episode 187, which is Breakfast of the World, episode 165, which is Annual Passes, and episode 139, Favorite Non-Attractions. We'll have links in the show notes to that. Noel, what have you got?
I was looking up 121 and 123 where we did a tour of World Showcase with Deb Wills.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Was that that was a two-parter.
It's a two-parter.
Len?
Yeah, I think the one that we just did about Power Hour is very good. And
we
did one on counter service restaurants, but I don't remember the episode number.
I'll search for it, Len, and put a link in the notes.
Because again, I just show up and people do the work. Thank you.
If you've ever seen the movie Galaxy Quest, Len is a lot like Tim Allen's character in
Len Shatner.
Shatner.
Next email comes from Mike Fredericks of Warsaw, Indiana, who writes, "We made reservations at Westgate Lakes due to it being rated #1 on the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World Top 30 Deals with a 92 room quality and a 4.5-star overall quality rating. Then we read many poor reviews at TripAdvisor.com for this property, and then I heard Len's excellent adventure, the author using the guide, had less than a stellar experience. So I'm concerned about something that may not be well with this location. Please do not make me spend my week at Walt Disney World telling my wife, but it's only $84 a night."
$84 a night. It's only $84. So this is funny because because Matt shared this letter with me about a week ago, and we actually sent the unofficial guide hotel team over to Westgate Lakes to spend the night, which was last night. and they've sent back like a dozen photos that I'll send off to Mike shortly. But the end result is that it's clean, it's safe. There's a guard posted at the entrance, and apparently there are no low-flying aircraft nearby either. I'm looking at the room photos online. It is indeed spacious. It's clean. The only comment that our unofficial guide researchers had is that it's the resort itself is getting a bit old. Not that it's broken down or anything, but you know, some wear and tear around the building itself. The rooms themselves look fine. Maybe the carpet isn't as new as it could be, but from the photos I saw, there's absolutely no objection to staying there. So it looks absolutely fine. In fact, I would stay there. The pools are spacious. The grounds look clean.
So
again, I have no qualms at all about staying there.
So instead of saying it's only $84 a night, he'll have to say it's only $84 a night, and Len said it's okay.
Exactly, and Len said it's okay. And Len said, right.
Our next email comes from Kelly from Tyler, Texas, who writes, "Hey guys, I'm going to Disney World next September with my sister, so I thought I'd better go ahead and send you my question now, so you might get to it by then. We got to it by then. It's only January. I'm usually a stickler for the unofficial guide touring plans. They work so well for us. However, I've heard way too many things about Tongatos to be able to go another trip without eating at Kona Cafe for breakfast. I thought we would try to go on our day at the Magic Kingdom. The problem is we're staying far away at Scopa Towers. Plus, I will barely be able to get my sister out of bed at the parks at opening then when we don't have to go to breakfast. So I'm worried about how late we'll get into the Magic Kingdom. If we don't get there until an hour or so after the park opens, should we still try to stick to the touring plan or just say forget it, follow no plans at all, and pray we don't have to wait 2 hours for Splash Mountain? Thanks, guys. Y'all are my favorite podcast."
Yeah, so that's tricky. We actually have a touring plan on the website. It's a late arrival touring plan that assumes you're going to get there at 11 o'clock, specifically for that. The issue with showing up an hour late is that for the major attractions, Space and Splash and Big Thunder and most of the stuff in Fantasyland, the waits are going to be 20, 30, 40 minutes already. And there's only so much you can fast pass at any given time. So one possibility is to combine Fast Pass with some of the theater shows or attractions. So, for example, grab a Fast Pass for Space Mountain. Buzz Lightyear shouldn't be terrible. Go on Buzz, do the TTA, do Carousel of Progress, then maybe hike over to Frontierland and see if you can get a Fast Pass for Splash or Big Thunder. Get that Fast Pass, do things like Pirates, Enchanted Tiki Room, Hall of Presidents, sort of the larger capacity attractions there, until you can get a Fast Pass for Big Thunder, eat some lunch, do stuff like that, and kind of work your way around the park that way.
Hey, Len, I know that Ohana's first seating is at 8 o'clock, but Tonga, did they open at 8 o'clock also?
No, I think the Kona Cafe. I think it's.
Kona Cafe.
I bet you it's 7 or maybe even 6:30.
Yeah, because I was thinking.
Check the Will site. They'd have the.
Yeah, Kelly said that. Kelly said that it's hard to get her sister up for regular park opening, but you're better. The ideal option, I guess, if you want to still be able to tour with the plans on time, is to really wake up early, get to Kona early, have your toast and be on hand in time for opening. You'd have to probably get to Polynesia by about 7:45.
Or an alternative. An alternative is go to the parks from like 9 to 10:30, get the last breakfast at Kona like 10:45,
and make it a lunch.
Make it a lunch.
Oh, you're always thinking, Len. That's why
That's
we keep
me.
you around.
Always thinking. Yes.
Even though you treat us like crap, we keep you around anyway.
No, that's not true. I take you for granted. It's two completely different things.
That's so much better.
Exactly. Hey, before we go on to the next question, I forgot to ask. I'm in need. The unofficial guide's in need of a behavioral psychologist, and I'm really glad I prefaced that with the unofficial guide is.
Why is that?
Yeah.
So if you or someone you love is a behavioral psychologist, please send me an email, len@touringplans.com. And we'll tell you what we're up to.
All right. Next email comes from Logan of Boynton Beach, Florida, who writes, "Hello, I really love the podcast. Listen to it with my brand new iPod Nano. I heard somewhere a listener question show, maybe, that teachers and nurses get discounts at the Swan and Dolphin resorts. Since both my parents are teachers, are there any other discounts in the world?
Yeah, occasionally Disney offers military families discounts at the Disney resorts, not just Shades of Green.
I think
don't know of
teacher
any other
discounts are... I haven't heard of any. Other
No,
than, you know,
I mean, Mouse Savers would have the complete list of discounts available to anyone, what state you live in, your profession, stuff like that. Check Mouse Savers.
Logan, being a Florida resident, you might have a better bet with going Florida resident discounts. I know that
Yeah.
you can get certain items like the Florida resident season pass and some other things a little bit cheaper. So you might want to investigate that. But Mouse Savers is a great place to.
Yeah, it's
they'll
actually
have all the information.
It's actually a good point. One of the things we looked at for tickets is that if you're to try and simplify the pricing is we say things like if you're a Florida resident, that's the least expensive option you've got. There's no point in looking at like Undercover Tourist or any other places because it's never going to be less expensive than what you can get as a Florida resident. I imagine the same thing's true for hotel discounts as well.
Absolutely. I think that's check out Mouse Savers. We'll put a link in the show notes for you. Next email's from Joe Needham of Rayford, North Carolina, who writes, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were recently given 4 complimentary 2-day park hopper passes to Disney World. The complimentary passes have someone else's last name on them. These tickets have never been used. The couple that the Disney directly gave the tickets to are never going back. I just wanted to know if my in-laws were going to have much of a problem once they get on site redeeming those tickets. We have heard that it won't be a problem since all the tickets have never been used. Others have speculated that Disney World may want ID presented before redeeming the tickets. Do you guys have any insight on this one?
I mean, how do they know if the tickets have never been redeemed?
Because that's what they've been told.
Because someone said it. Okay. Here's the thing: if assuming the tickets have never been used, yeah, they shouldn't have any problem getting in. But if there is a problem, the first thing they're going to be asked to do is to present some identification, and that's when things are going to get tricky.
Yeah, I don't anticipate a problem, right?
No. I mean, worst case scenario is you say your brother-in-law, or somebody gave them to you or whatever, and just be honest with the Disney people. My guess is they're not going to ruin someone's vacation or make someone pay $270 or whatever it is for 2-day passes.
Absolutely.
For something like that, I would be
especially
surprised.
if they look it up and they see, okay, it hasn't been used before, so it's not like someone just handing off tickets.
Yeah. Now, if it's partially used, then all bets are off.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Jen in Maryland wants to know, I was wondering why Walt Disney World does not put a holiday overlay on Haunted Mansion or Small World. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard that Haunted Mansion is really antiquated in terms of it hasn't received the kind of upgrades that Haunted Mansion in Disneyland has received over the years.
Yeah, I think Jim Hill mentioned this in one of the shows where he said that essentially all of the money that was going to go to the Haunted Mansion overlay for Christmas instead went to Stitch's Great Escape, and of course that was money well spent. Exactly. Yeah. Could have just flushed it down the toilet to begin with and saved everyone a lot of time and hassle, but whatever. So that's what happened there, and
Small World. I think for both reasons. I think that there's
Small World is pretty big. It'd be tough to do an overlay there. Not to say it couldn't be done, but
plus Small World is outdoors at Disneyland.
I mean, the thing that you have to look at, I guess, for Disney World is, it's generally the number one or for the Magic Kingdom, it's generally the number one or number two theme park in the United States. Why do they have to do anything else?
Exactly.
And so they're not. And if it's a choice between spending the money on a new attraction or a new show element for an attraction that's under production, or doing a holiday overlay for a ride that is going to be fairly popular, only for a few weeks, I mean, that they're going to spend the money on the new thrill or the new attraction. I think. I mean, that's just my opinion.
I would think also, I mean, above all other reasons, I think money just comes down to it, and it's a cost, return on investment kind of question. And I think beyond anything else, there's other factors, I'm sure, but I think, if you ask me, I think it's just cost, and they're just, not interested in doing it. And like you said, Len, if you're the best, why? There's no compelling reason to to go there. So keep that in your little back pocket when you need to, pull that out. Have time for one last question. Question.
Dear Matt, how do you keep yourself so trim and fit?
Well, Len. All right. Well, here's a question. It's from Chris Gephardt of Columbus, Indiana. Dear Matt, how do you keep yourself so fit and trim?
That was great.
Actually, Chris's real question is, hi, everybody. I've been listening to Walt Disney World podcast since May 2006 and thought of you guys before Christmas when I went shopping at a mall in Indianapolis.
I didn't get anything, though.
What's that?
I didn't get anything.
I don't recall anything on that.
The Disney Store had a buy one, get one free sale on most items in the store right before Christmas. We looked through the store and found Disney trading pins that were part of the sale. We stocked up on pins for our next trip at $2.50 each, which is quite a savings. Following the scope of values of always looking for a good meal, or a good deal rather, I inquired about getting
both.
Yeah. I inquired about getting park tickets at the same buy one get one free rate, but they laughed at me. Couldn't help but try.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it was the first thing I thought of too. Park hopper.
I have a question about park tickets, though. I have been thinking of buying the 10-day park passes with no expiration option as a way to get around ever-increasing park tickets prices. We have been a family that went to Walt Disney World a few days every other year, but after listening to your podcast every week, I think we may start going a little bit more frequently.
Okay.
That's all I wrote. Where's the question? That's
one of you two, either you or me or Newell, need to stop drinking before we do the show.
I think
this is really starting to not make sense for me.
All right, I just reread it. I think the question, he didn't write here's my question, but
Don't blame the listener.
it's the listener's fault. He
Make
wants
up
to
a
buy
question.
He wants
Make
to
up a
buy the
question for
10-day park pass with no expiration option.
Mhm.
Obviously, that being, he won't obviously use 10 days on his next trip, so he would save it for maybe next year or the year after, and that would save on prices. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, I mean the big thing with those things is make sure you don't lose it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because losing it, it's lost money, and you'd be surprised. I mean, I've lost park tickets before, and I'm a professional, so.
The other thing you can do, of course, is you can photocopy the back of them so you have that ID number, and then they can reprint it for you.
Assuming you don't lose the photo, don't put the photocopy with the word. No, I'm gonna wrap the ticket in the photo pin and the photocopy just in case.
You have to
I'll
store
never
it in
lose
separate places. Yeah, don't lose it. That's really the lesson here. Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. You can also email us at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hodgeberg. We'll see you on the next show.